strike, and the score.
And McClellan, he could go. Burst of speed.
The header, another goes in.
Heisman Memorial Trophy. Bryce Young.
A shot with the right foot. 3-1 Crimson Tide. We talked about Alabama.
Alabama is still Alabama.
Roll Tide and welcome to the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of TideTV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by my co-host Kenzie Hughes, and once again, Kenzie, we're talking soccer to begin the show.
Oh, no surprise. I've said it once and I'll say it again. It is a great year for Alabama athletics thus far.
Kenzie, it's been an incredible season for the Alabama soccer team. The Crimson Tide won their first ever SEC championship, won a program record 16 games, and had an Alabama record 12 consecutive wins heading into the match against Auburn this past Thursday.
The Tide had already won one trophy this season, and going for another one on Sunday, all it took was one goal. It was a scoreless battle until the 86th minute. With a long assist from across the field from Cat Rogers, pedaling backwards, Riley Tanner headed the ball perfectly into the corner of the net for the score.
McKinley Crone recorded 3 saves as she earned her 8th shutout of the season. Number 1 Alabama wins the 2022 Iron Bowl of soccer with the 1-0 win over Auburn. The Iron Bowl trophy remains in Tuscaloosa for the 3rd consecutive year.
With that win, Alabama improved to 17-1-1 on the year and a perfect 10-0 in SEC play. The Tide earned the number 1 seed in the SEC tournament that is being held in Pensacola, Florida this week.
The number 1 ranked Crimson Tide has racked up a lot of wins on the field this season, and they're now racking up a lot of awards. Alabama won 6 of the 7 major awards from the Southeastern Conference. Well, what a season it's been for Riley Mattingly Parker. She is 10th in the nation with 12 goals, and she also earned 2 awards. Parker was named the SEC Forward of the Year and the SEC Scholar Athlete of the Year.
The nation's assist leader was named the Midfielder of the Year. Felicia Knox has an NCAA leading 15 assists on the season, which is also an Alabama record.
Raina Reyes was named the SEC Defender of the Year. Reyes helped lead the Crimson Tide to 10 shutouts on the season, and despite playing on the back line, Reyes was also pretty good on the offensive end, scoring 6 goals.
And the freshman phenom, Gianna Paul, earned SEC Freshman of the Year honors. Paul has scored 6 goals so far while adding 5 assists. Paul ranks 3rd on the team with 17 points and scored the game-winning goal in the Tide's win over 6th-ranked BYU.
And head coach Wes Hart was named the SEC Coach of the Year. Coach Hart led the Crimson Tide to the first SEC championship in program history. The Tide finished the regular season 17-1-1, with 5 of those coming against top 20 teams, and also he was a perfect 10-0 in conference play.
And the honors don't stop there, Roger. Alabama earned 8 All-SEC selections, 8 of them. Riley Parker, Felicia Knox, and Raina Reyes were named first-team All-SEC. The Crimson Tide had 3 more selected to the All-SEC second team. Sasha Pickard, Riley Tanner, and Gianna Paul were all chosen. Paul also earned All-SEC freshman team honors along with teammate Brooke Steer. The 8 Crimson Tide selections by the 14 SEC coaches were the most by any school. And Roger, it's the first time in program history Alabama has had the forward, midfielder, or defensive player of the year.
The Crimson Tide also remained number 1 in Top Drawer Soccer's rankings this week. The top-ranked Crimson Tide competing at the SEC tournament this week in Pensacola. Alabama is the number 1 seed, and we'll have a complete recap of the tournament in next week's show.
Roger, have you heard that Alabama is a championship school? Soccer has already won the SEC regular season championship, and this past week, the Alabama men's and women's cross-country teams are coming home with a couple of rings. We'll have the highlights and visit with the head coach of the SEC champs when we return.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Yeah, go.
Right again. Play up. Play up in.
We need a huge crowd to pack Coleman Coliseum.
Davis with the spin on the layup.
Right to the basket. Lays it up. Lays it in despite the contact.
What? You better hush your mouth, girl.
Stop it, Brittany.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
Players play, tough players win championships. If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game. Okay, if you play harder than them, you win the game.
Roll, Tide, roll.
exactly doing that. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness.
Welcome back. The Alabama men's and women's cross-country teams were in Oxford, Mississippi this past Friday as the Tide competed in the SEC Championships.
It was a beautiful day on the campus of Ole Miss, and the Tide took full advantage of the nice weather. The women started the day off, and the Crimson Tide dominated. Alabama had 4 finish in the top 7. Last year's winner Mercy Schellingott finished 2nd, freshman Hilda Olomomoy finished 3rd, Amaris Tanisma was 5th, with Flamina Asicol coming in 7th place. The women won the SEC Championship for the 3rd time and also the first since 1987.
The Alabama men made it an SEC Championship sweep with the team win. Victor Kieprop won the men's individual title as he finished nearly 4 seconds ahead of the runner-up. The men had 3 finish in the top 7, with Hillary Shariut finishing 4th and Ilyuid Kipsang 7th. It's the 4th SEC Championship for the men's team and first since 2009.
Yeah, 2009 was a good year, Kinsey, and this year's SEC Championship sweep was the first in program history for the Alabama men's and women's cross-country teams.
Insanely impressive, and those two and the one from soccer make it 3 SEC championships already this year. Alabama really is a championship school, right?
Yeah, Nate Oates said it best just a few years ago, and we're just over a little 3 months into this school year, still a long way to go, more championships to win. For more on cross-country's 2 SEC championships, head coach Dan Waters joins us now, along with our Delaney Jones.
Excited to have you in the studio today with us, Coach Waters. Big congratulations in order on the 2 SEC titles won this past weekend by cross country. Talk about the SEC championship sweep and how rare is it for both the men's and women's teams to win the SEC title in a season?
Obviously, last time we won the women's was in the 80s, I think 1987, so it's been a long, long time. So that's pretty rare. And then I think we won SEC title in 2009, but we've never done it in both in the same season. And so to do that this year was really special. And I don't know, I guess we got a little lucky this year.
Now the women are ranked #1 in the South region and 7th in the nation. They had 4 finish in the top 7 in SEC championships. Talk about the women as they prepare for NCAAs.
Well, Coach Palmer is the one that coaches the women, and obviously he has his wife, and he has another great volunteer, Ethan, to work with him. So they're doing an unbelievably great job. They obviously have a lot of leadership, and they have upperclassmen. They've got a lot of firepower. They got a lot of great runners that allow them to do those kind of things. They finished 4 in the top 7. So ranked first in the region. I think they've been there pretty much all year long, and I think maybe 7th is maybe a little bit more conservative. Hopefully we'll be able to finish a little higher when we get to the NCAA championships.
The men had 3 finish in the top 7 at the SEC championships, and like the women, they're ranked 1st in the South region and 16th in the nation. Talk about their performance as you head into the postseason.
The men is a lot closer, and it was really exciting to watch the athletes dig it out. They really had to, basically win the race over the last 1,000 meters, which is pretty late for a cross-country run. So I was super proud of what they were able to accomplish at the SEC meet.
Now, what does this statement SEC sweep mean to the team, and what are the team's goals as they prepare for the NCAA South Regional Championships?
Obviously, to advance to the national championships, it's just one of those kind of workman's meets where you just have to go and take care of business. So we'll try to keep our focus and have a kind of a low-key, run through the region championships to try to prepare ourselves for the national championships. The sweep is something special. It feels pretty good. I don't know, through the beginning of the season, I think we were ranked to win it at the preseason. So, just to be able to accomplish that goal and to be able to do that, I don't know if the sweep has really set in, at least for me, maybe it has for the kids, but we're just focusing on what's next.
Thank you so much for talking with us today, Coach, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Stay with us. Coming up next, we'll preview this weekend's matchup on the gridiron between 6th-ranked Alabama and 10th-ranked LSU.
Plus, it was Coach Saban's birthday on Halloween. We'll give you an all-access look as the team wished him a happy birthday. That and more coming up next right here on TideTV This Week.
TideTV This Week is presented by Ford. For great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide, the University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Somebody stop me, I'm on the groove.
There you see the Crimson Tide ready to go.
Go.
Campbell down in Alabama. There's Jacob
Jacobs.
Taken by Layla Smith.
Down, and Alabama's back on top. Blocked by Jacobs. And blocked
For Alabama, they need a servant up.
Are you kidding me? Ray. And a point for Alabama on a long rally.
Move.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness!
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. Kinsey, you feel like the football season is starting to get a little more serious, if that's possible. It's even been fun following the Associated Press and Coaches Top 25, but the first college football playoff rankings were released on Tuesday, and that is the ranking that matters.
Ain't that the truth, Roger? The top 4 move on to the college football playoff, and there's still a little over a month to play, so we got some time, but this initial ranking gives us a little insight as to what the committee's thinking.
The team that handed the Crimson Tide their only loss of the season on a last-second field goal is number 1. Behind the Vols, Ohio State, followed by Georgia and Clemson. Michigan is just on the outside looking in at number 5, along with the Crimson Tide at number 6.
It's crazy to think that one last-second field goal put one team at number 1 and the other at 6, but there's good news, Roger. Alabama controls their own destiny and went out, and the Crimson Tide will be in the college football playoffs, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that's it, Kinsey. Alabama must remain undefeated in the regular season and win the SEC championship. There's a 3-way tie atop the SEC West, and the Crimson Tide play both teams in the next 2 weeks on the road at LSU and Ole Miss.
The first of those is Saturday night in Baton Rouge as the Crimson Tide takes on the LSU Tigers. For a preview of this weekend's matchup, our Christopher England joins us now.
6th-ranked Alabama travels to Baton Rouge to take on number 10 LSU. Under Coach Saban, the Crimson Tide are 12-4 against the Tigers, including a 6-1 record in Baton Rouge. Alabama has won the last 5 in Death Valley by an average of 19 points, including a 29-0 win in 2018 and a 55-10 dominating victory in the last matchup in Baton Rouge in 2020. This has become one of the most important rivalries in college football. Both teams have been ranked in 14 out of the last 16 matchups, and either Alabama or LSU has been ranked in the top 5 in every one of those. And the two even faced off for the national championship during the 2011 season, with the Tide winning their 14th national championship with a 21-0 victory. Brian Kelly is in his first season as head coach at LSU, but he's no stranger to Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide. Kelly has faced Coach Saban in Alabama twice as a head coach, both times at Notre Dame, and both times in the college football playoffs, and both times the Tide dominated the Fighting Irish. Alabama defeated Notre Dame 42-14 in 2013 for the Crimson Tide's 15th national championship, their 3rd in 4 years. Alabama then defeated Notre Dame 31-14 in the Rose Bowl in 2020 as the Tide went on to win their 18th national championship with a 52-24 win over Ohio State. LSU enters the matchup 6-2, ranked 10th in the college football playoff rankings. LSU opened the season with a 24-23 loss to Florida State, but since then, their only blemish has been a 40-13 loss to Tennessee in Week 6. LSU's best win was their last one as the Tigers upset 7th-ranked and undefeated Ole Miss 45-20. In that upset win over the Rebels, quarterback Jaden Daniels was magnificent. The transfer from Arizona State completed 21 of 28 passes for 248 yards and 2 touchdowns. If that wasn't enough, he also rushed 23 times for 121 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns as Daniels was honored as the SEC Offensive Player of the Week. Daniels is the only quarterback in the SEC to rank in the top 10 in both passing and rushing. In his last 2 games, Daniels has accounted for 11 touchdowns as LSU scored 45 in wins over Florida and Ole Miss. Along with Daniels, the Tigers have 2 running backs that average over 5.5 yards per carry. On the receiving end, Jeray Jenkins leads the team with 5 touchdown receptions, while Malik Neighbors leads the Tigers with 455 receiving yards. Kayshawn Boutte has stepped up in his last 2 outings, combining for 10 receptions for 158 yards. LSU is 5th in the SEC in total defense and scoring defense, allowing just over 21 points per game. Leading the Tigers defensively is defensive end B.J. Ojulari, as he leads the team with 6 tackles for loss and 4 sacks, and has been named SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week twice this season. Kickoff is scheduled for 6 o'clock. The game will be broadcast on ESPN. Back to you, Roger and Kinsey.
Thanks, Christopher. We have a time for next weekend matchup against Ole Miss in Oxford.
Alabama and Ole Miss will meet in Vaught Hemingway Stadium at 2:30 Central. That's the CBS National Game of the Week, and it will be the Crimson Tide's 4th game this season on CBS.
That's going to be a fun one as well, Roger. And as Lane Kiffin said before last year's kickoff, get your popcorn ready.
How'd that work out? It should be a good one next Saturday in Oxford. Several former Crimson Tide stars have had big weeks in the NFL recently. Let's take a look at our Crimson Tide in the NFL Players of the Week.
Starting off with the King, Derrick Henry just keeps on breaking records. Henry rushed for 219 yards, the 3rd most in his career, and had 2 touchdowns, 17-10 win over the Houston Texans. Henry leads the NFL in scrimmage yards per game this season with 127.9, and Derrick has the most games in NFL history with 200 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns with 6. The next closest are some of the best in the NFL. They only have 3. Henry also broke the Titans franchise touchdown record with 75 career touchdowns. Henry was also named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week.
And Tua Tagovailoa has proven he is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Tua completed 29 of 26 for 382 yards and 3 touchdowns in the Dolphins' 31-27 win over the Detroit Lions. Talk about being clutch. Tua has the highest passer rating this season on 3rd down since the stat has been recorded. Tua also ranks 1st in the NFL in passer rating and yards per attempt this season.
And you know what this means, right? I'm waddling. I know y'all can't see me, but I'm hitting the waddle,
now
right?
We can see it.
We saw a lot of that this weekend. Jalen Waddle caught 8 of his 9 passes from Tua for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's pretty good. And Jalen Hurts remains the only undefeated quarterback in the NFL. Hurts completed 19 of 28 for 285 yards and 4 touchdowns as the Eagles improved to 7-0 with the 35-13 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers.
It was a big week for the Alabama football team. Even though the Crimson Tide had a bye week, the team had a lot to celebrate.
Yes, it was Coach Saban's 71st birthday on Halloween. Let's take a look as the team wished the GOAT a very happy birthday.
They don't make them like they used to.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
Players play, tough players win championships. If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game. Okay, if you play harder than them, you win the game.
Roll, time, roll is exactly doing that. It's hard to hear yourself in here.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, go.
Try it again. Play up up. Play up in.
We need a huge crowd to pack Coleman Coliseum.
Davis with the spin on the layup.
Right to the basket. Lays it up. Lays it in despite the contact.
You better hush your mouth, girl.
Stop it, Brittany.
Welcome back. The 20th ranked Alabama men's basketball team tipped off their season this past Saturday with a charity exhibition game.
That's right, Roger. Alabama hosted Southern Illinois in Foster Auditorium with the proceeds going to the Alberta Head Start program.
The Tide's newcomers made a big splash in their debut, accounting for 61 of the Tide's 73 points. Brandon Miller had a game-high 14 points. Crimson Tide led by 21 at 67-46 with just over 6 minutes to go. The Tide out-rebounded the Salukis 46-29 as the 20th ranked Crimson Tide defeated Southern Illinois 73-64.
The Alabama men's and women's basketball teams will hold a doubleheader at Coleman Coliseum on Monday. The women will take on Alabama A&M at 5, with the men hosting Longwood at 7:30.
Also, the Alabama volleyball team was on the road Wednesday night as the Crimson Tide took on Texas A&M in College Station. The Aggies took the first set 25-22, but the Crimson Tide fought back to win the next 2 sets by 2 points each for the 2-1 lead. Alabama got the win in set 3. 25-20 for the 3-1 match win. The victory on the road was the Crimson Tide's first SEC road win of the season and also second overall.
The Alabama rowing team closed out their fall schedule with the head of the Black Warrior River Regatta. The Tide sent 2 8s onto the water with its crew leading the way with a time of 17:08.7. In the Varsity 2S, Alabama took 4 of the top 5 spots, with Hannah Bennett and Saskia Damersmith coming in first place with a winning time of 19:28.1.
The Alabama women's golf team also wrapped up their fall competition this past weekend at the Landfall Tradition. Benedetta Moresco and Sarah Edwards tied for 9th overall as the Crimson Tide finished the 3-day 54-hole tournament tied for 11th place at 17 over par with a team total of 881.
Y'all stay with us. We'll have our plays and players of the week coming up next in just about 90 seconds.
Somebody stop me, I'm on a groove.
There you see the Crimson Tide ready to go.
Go.
Campbell down in Alabama. There's Jacobs.
Taken by Layla Smith.
Down and Alabama's back on top. Blocked by Jacobs. And blocked for
Alabama, they needed serve and drop.
Are you kidding me? Ray. And a point for Alabama on a long rally.
Move.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness!
As Cat Rogers floated back in, headed in. Alabama has the breakthrough, and surely a perfect SEC season. They win the Iron Bowl of soccer for the 3rd straight year. Victor Kiprop will remain undefeated 4 races this fall and 4 first-place finishes. And Alabama makes it a clean sweep. The women are dominant, and the men win in one of the closest finishes you will see.
Welcome back to Tide TV this week. So those were our ATI plays of the week. Now let's take a look at our players of the week brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
Well, Victor Kiprop remained undefeated on the year as he captured the SEC Men's Cross Country Individual Championship, winning by nearly 4 seconds.
Ola Peacock claimed the championship in her singles draw as well, taking the doubles championship with her sister Cassia as her partner.
And Riley Tanner scored the game winner for the Crimson Tide as they defeated Auburn 1-0 to claim the Iron Bowl of Soccer trophy for the 3rd year in a row.
Congratulations to our Legacy of Hope players of the week. And it was Halloween on Monday, so before we say goodbye, we'd like to share a spooky little Halloween cheer with you.
We really would. The Crimson Tide student athletes held a Halloween extravaganza for local kids here in Tuscaloosa to have a safe place to trick-or-treat, also have fun on Halloween. We have a special look at that event as we say goodbye.
A spooky goodbye, right? Yeah? Or Christmas, either one.
It's not Thanksgiving. Don't forget Thanksgiving.
Okay, word. Well, y'all have a great
Roll
week
Tide.
either way. Roll Tide.
So this event came together with the help of our SAC committee, especially the subcommittee through community service, which is the one that I run. And this really couldn't have come together without the help of all of our teams, through SAC and through everyone coming together to get their teams organized to come up with events that the kids want to do and that they could interact with them with.
Yeah, this means the world to me. I mean, being able to give back to the community and show you what the community what we're all about is great. We haven't had this event for a while, so it's always good to kind of give back to the community.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,